Hi everybody, welcome back to the Gaming Pantry. This is Retro Bear speaking to you live, as recorded, with another video response. Yes, it must be that time of year. Around this time of year, animals get certain urges, and it seems that around this time of year, YouTubers get certain urges. And what we're going to do is basically put a video up and say to everybody, have a go, respond, do what you need to do. And here's a subject for you. Let's see what you're all about. And this one is a response to my very good, long-time, close personal friend, David Plays Retro Games Badly, Birdsall. Now, David, I say close personal friend, I've known David through YouTube for probably about 18 months now, and always a pleasure to interact with him. He's a great guy to watch on YouTube, and he's an incredibly nice chap, all told. He did a video a few weeks ago. I'm way behind my videos, but a few weeks ago, basically, which is a subject probably close to a lot of people's hearts, and that is games that we have discovered while we've been collecting. Now, it depends on what your collecting habits are. Mine just seems to be basically pick up anything I can find, but other people are sort of more focused on their collections. And a very interesting subject was raised by David, that in this mass collecting habit that you come across games that you may never heard of before, never seen before, never played before, all those sorts of things, and actually come to appreciate them over time. So this is the video response to David of 10 games that I've come to enjoy through collecting. I've got to be very careful. It's quite a fine line, you know. It's that sort of fine line between sort of being charming and being an arsehole. It's sort of like games you've come to enjoy through collecting, very close to games you felt were unappreciated, but you've come to enjoy through playing through collecting. But we're just going to go through games, and that's like, whoa, we're way out there. It's even complicated enough as it is. So this is going to be games that I have, 10 games at random, picked from my collection that I've enjoyed playing through picking up, where I'd have no reason to pick up those games otherwise, or play them otherwise. And, you know, when you've got 3,000 odd games, it's a bit tricky. And it's taken a little bit of time to sort it out, but I've tried to pick a wide range. I could have done a lot more. If I'd broadened the spectrum a little bit, I could have gone even further, but I'm not going to. So before we start, I should just tell you that we're actually today we're watching Gunfighter, The Legend of Jesse James, which is not one of those games on my list. In fact, I've never actually played it. But it does look quite good, and I didn't realise at the time, once again, it's mainly things you find up. I've just been through my PlayStation 1 collection and found a copy of Tomb Raider 3 without the disc. Now, don't call me the Retro Bear for nothing. I'll have to try and find out what's happened to that one. But it does sound there light gun compatible, which is always rather fascinating. So that's to go on the to play pile. That'll be playing in the background. If you're new to the channel, you may not have seen that before. So the first game I came across is a really old game. I say really old game. I remember it being absolutely groundbreaking when it came out. And I've only got this version of it here, and I've got a copy on a compilation as well. So this is on the Commodore 64. And for those of you who love collecting Hit Squad games, you're going to love this one. This is Driller. Now, when this first came out, you may just be able to see from the back there, using something called Freescape. It was... just see there, it's very much a polygon 3D game running on a Commodore 64. Now, at the time when it came out, it was absolutely groundbreaking. I think there was at least 2 or 3 games in this series. I can't for the life remember what they were called, but Driller was one which I remember sort of saying, wow, this looks fantastic. And I never got to play it at the time. I never got to see it at the time, and I knew nobody who'd got a copy of it, so I didn't do it until I picked up my Commodore 64 about 10 years later, and then a job lot of games about 6 months after that, and this was in there. And I played this for the first time in 2010, and I was absolutely enthralled by it. Now, granted, 20 odd years difference between the game came out and me playing it. The technology has moved on. This does move like a load of slugs stuck in treacle with weights attached to them. It's not a particularly quick game, and the technology of the hardware at the time does limit it. But I was absolutely enthralled and spent hours at a time sat playing that. Didn't get very far with it, and I couldn't really understand what the hell I was meant to be doing. But I loved it. I absolutely loved playing it. I haven't played it for years. I may go back to it because I'm seriously considering getting the Commodore 64 out again and having to go through that. But yeah, Driller. I mean, it was a really interesting game to take part of, and although I still think 20 odd years later it holds up really well. Just for you Hit Squad collectors, that's number 23 in the arcade. And yeah, Driller, Commodore 64, check that one out. Now, you didn't expect that, did you? Let's move along 20 odd years later. I don't know. Should this game have worked? I'm not really sure. It does. This is South Park, Stick of Truth. Now, it's a very modern game. I say modern game in the last 10 years or so. I used to love South Park when it first came out. I think the South Park film was one of the funniest films ever made. And when I saw this, I thought, it's got South Park. And then I realised that it's got an RPG element attached to it. Now, previous South Park games haven't been very good. South Park Rally, South Park on the N64, generally just considered a load of tosh. This really shouldn't work, but it does. And I've not watched South Park for years, so I did sort of have trouble sort of following bits and pieces on it. But this is complete. It didn't cost me an awful lot. I just absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. The humour, the style of the game, and I hate RPGs and stuff. I just can't stand them. You know, turn-based games are just not interested at all. But that one, yeah, that sort of like, I played it for a bit, and I thought, yeah, one day actually, if I ever have time, I'll sit down and play it properly. But yeah, that was quite surprising. I really expect that to be a load of rubbish, because licensing games tend to be a load of rubbish. I know there's been a follow-up to it, which I have no intention of getting because I ain't played that one properly yet. But that's really a great game. I love that one. Let's move around. This game cropped up on Griffo's channel recently. If you've not seen Griffo at all, Griffo's Retro Gaming, Alex, very nice chap indeed. Does lots of videos, lots of pick-up stuff. So it's probably pretty quiet over here at the moment. But he did put up a video last week, I think it was, which is more than more remarkable because I managed to watch it because I'm so far behind my YouTube videos. But Alex put up a video up where he got some sort of underappreciated forgotten classics, well, forgotten games on the Super Nintendo. And one of the games he picked up there, I completely agreed with him, and I thought, yeah, you're absolutely right, because when I got that game, I bought it as a job lot, and I thought, this really is going to be a load of rubbish. And actually, it's a very, very interesting and very well done puzzle game, and it's Goof Troop on the SNES. Now, I picked this up at a car boot sale in I think I got about 10 cartridges for about 25 quid or something like that. And you sort of think, you pick these things up, oh god, bloody, I barely remember the cartoon. I can't think of anything more unappealing as a cartoon fan of a cartoon starring Goofy. But it works. It's a really joyful, competent little puzzler. Some of those puzzles in it are pretty fiendish. If you want to have a look at some of the gameplay from that, go across to Griffo's channel. I will put a link in the description below. You can go and see that, and he's got a few other SNES games on there. But he's absolutely right. Now, it's probably, he's not quite in saying it's underappreciated and a sort of forgotten classic, because people do hold this game in quite high regard. But I thought I was going to not like this at all. So from my point of view, this is the game I've enjoyed through collecting, and it's by Capcom as well. You know, Capcom we associate with fighting games, not Disney platformers. But that is really good. You can get an opportunity to pick that up, do so. It's honestly, you will be surprised. It's not a kiddies title. Jumping around all over the place here. Unsurprisingly, there's a Wii game here, and there's quite a few Wii games which, you know, my Wii collecting habits are well known. If you've not seen the channel before, then there's obviously the reason why there's a giant pile of Wii games behind me here. Sometimes you have to, you know, follow a system, and people get attached to a certain system. Some people it's good systems. For me, it's the Wii. The Wii, like every other system that I own, has its good points and its flaws. But you know, within your system, within your collecting, you get emotionally attached or associated or an affinity to a certain machine, whether it's a Commodore 64, whether it's a Spectrum, whether it's an Amiga, whether it's a Mega Drive, whether it's a Super Nintendo, whether it's an Xbox 360, whatever. Mine is the Wii, completely by accident, and that's it. And there are a load of games on there which I could have put in this list and said, don't judge a book by its cover, because these games really are worth picking up if you can find them, and some of them are so blooming cheap as well. I mean, you know, you want to go and buy a copy of that, you're probably going to be paying the best part of a tenner, right? They ain't cheap, those sort of things. I'm looking to get mine dirt cheap. But the Wii, the Wii's got so many games on there which you could probably put into this category and do a video on your own. I'm not going to do that because that's just overkill, and there's plenty of games here which are really good. So I'm going to pick up a game which probably I think will cost you no more than about £1 to £2 at the very, very most. It may even cost you less than. I think this cost me 50p. And this is LEDs. And which is a very, very simple game, and it looks like it should be a load of rubbish, but if you notice in the top corner there, Konami. And I'll just read the description, you can make your own mind up from this. Is LEDs are small, cute, electricity generating creatures. One day a sudden lightning storm strikes and the LEDs begin to act strangely and go into hiding. It's up to you and your trusty capture gun to search anywhere and everywhere to capture them all. And it's sort of a little bit like Luigi's Mansion, where you've got to try and capture the ghosts. So there's a little bit like a ghost busting sort of element going on there. But it is a really fun game, and this has absolutely no right to probably be as good as it is. But of course, I dare say that most of you will look at the front of that cover there and go, ugh, kids game. Not going to bother buying that one, it's a kids game. And of course, as I haven't shown my Wii collection off yet, I've not shown many inside of the boxes, but there you go, absolutely immaculately good condition inside. Honestly, pick it up, it's worth a go. Again, it is regarded very much as a hidden gem, or a game that you should give a go to, but I honestly thought, but you'll be surprised. Any game that you could if you sit down and play a game for more than half an hour without experiencing any sort of like loss of interest or loss of motivation, or I'll go and play something else, you're not enjoying it. Anything longer than that, you go, actually I'm getting into this, and the more you play it, the more you'll enjoy it. I completely agree. Let's move back. Now again, it's a game which, you know, it's not one of these sort of games you've never heard of before, because that's normally we probably do 10 games you've never heard of before. But this one again here, it's a fiendishly tricky old game. It's the Ninja on the Master System, and the reason I'm putting this in there is because I looked at that and I thought, you look at that and you think, oh God, it's called the Ninja. I mean, is there a more unimaginative titled game than the Ninja? Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense at all. And there's screenshots. Again, you might not be seeing because the recording this in broad daylight, which has also not been helping a great deal. I've got a white box as well. The screenshots there are nothing to write home about. It is, from my own memory, I think it is a conversion of a game. It's not complete. Oops. The cartridge is in nice condition, but the box is no manual with that one. But it's a difficult game to play, very difficult, but it's so addictive. You can't put it down. You've got to keep going back for another go and another go and another go. And each time you probably get to the same point or a little bit further, and then that's what a game should be about, drags you in and pulls you in. That is uninspiring. Okay, that there to me looks absolute cack. It looks like something I would have drawn when I was about 12 years old, and I had no artistic perception whatsoever. If you were judging what would you buy? Yeah, two completely different sort of things there. Okay, if you're into ninjas, you're going to buy that one. If you're into things that look a bit like elephants, you'd buy that. But you just keep playing this and playing this and playing this. And the music is really good as well. The music sort of keeps you going. And nobody gets very far with it, but everybody loves a ninja. It's great. It really is. Such a game that you could put on, and you can guarantee within the hour you'll be pulling your hair out. But you won't be regretting it. You won't be pulling the game out the socket, out the cartridge slot, and throwing it across the room. You wouldn't do that. Or throw the cart. You might throw the joypad, but you wouldn't. It's not that sort of game. You just go, oh, I've had enough of that for now. Too much for now. That's the difference. Let's have a look. Now, this one, again, it's not again, none of these are particularly rare games, so I'm sort of going, where are we now? To 1, 2, it's number 6. And I love this game. No reason why this is on the Xbox, because it came out on the PlayStation 2 and the GameCube, and I think I've got all 3. This is From Russia With Love, 007. It's based on the Sean Connery film when he was James Bond, and one of the great things about this is Sean Connery, one of the last things he did before he retired from acting, went back and revoiced his character for this game. It's got a where are we? It's got the voices of Daniela Bianchi, Robert Shaw, Lottie Lenya, Pedro Armendariz, and Bernard Lee as M, and then Natasha Bedingfield and Maria Menoudis. I can't read this right. My eyes are terrible. Doing the vocals on it as well. And it again, it's you look at that and you think, oh, that looks, James Bond game. Not sure about it, based on the film. Now, it's generally regarded that the EA games for the original titles, so Agent Under Fire, Nightfire, and Everything or Nothing, generally regarded as very good game because they're original titles using the Pierce Brosnan character. Bloodstone, very, very good game using Daniel Craig as James Bond. This is sort of going back to an original James Bond game, and it's really good. It really is good. It's good fun to play. I've sat down and played this for 2 or 3 hours at a time quite happily, and not getting very far, but I just love the game. It's great fun, and it's so easy and cheap to pick up. Honestly, most people would avoid that because the other games get a better reputation. This one, again, we're going to talk about reputation. I'm not talking about reputation. It's games I've loved to play, and I absolutely got in thrall with that the moment I picked it up and played it. So, but you can get that on PlayStation 2. You can get that on GameCube. It's not a game that's going to be hard to track down. It's not going to cost you a lot of money. A lot of these games here ain't going to cost you a lot of money. What have we got now? Dreamcast. Yeah, Dreamcast. A Dreamcast game. It was either that or the Saturn game. The Saturn game unfortunately came 11th. And this is Revolt, which doesn't look like it's going to be much because it's one of these sort of RC toy car racers, but it's really, really good fun. Absolutely love getting this out. You know, it's things like Speed Freaks and Speed Machines on the PlayStation 1. You can get the, you know, again, just car racer type things. You know, you could have there's a 4-player split screen on it as well. I mean, for a machine which doesn't get an awful lot of love for it, there were some really good games for it, and I think this is just great. It's like Micro Machines, but from a behind the car perspective, because you are sort of racing sort of small cars. You can see there, it's a small remote control car next to a pavement. There we go there. I'm doing this terribly. The sunlight's all over the place today. Sorry about that. But it's just great. It is just absolutely great fun. With 128-bit graphics, realistic remote control physics, great weapons and awesome environments, Revolt is your dream racer. All at 300 scale miles per hour. Your miniature size arsenal will do full damage with weapons. Custom editor, true RC physical objects. Yeah, I mean, it'll be like playing Toad's Turnpike on Mario Kart. Pretty much the case. Little carts driving around between traffic. It's honestly, get a chance to pick a copy up. It's great fun. It really is. Absolutely love that game. And again, it doesn't look like anything. It doesn't look like anything. Now you can see why some people would have picked this game up back in the day, as this is choice number 8, and this is 24 the game, which I'm very fortunate to have the tin edition of. It's not particularly expensive or rare or collectible. You just don't see it very often. And this game can be bought for 50p. If anybody remembers 24, and I understand I'm appealing to a small section of the audience, this was very, very popular, sort of in the early 2000s. Ideally, a sort of terrorist crime program set in a period of 24 hours across 24 episodes, possibly, where everything's meant to happen in real time. It's not quite in real time, but damn it, it's close as, and it's sort of first 3 series or so absolutely went mad across the world. People were enthused into it. The BBC overheard it first of all, and then it all went to Sky. And it was really, really good fun. And then I think it ran for about six series and a couple of specials, and they brought it back without Kiefer Sutherland in it, and it wasn't quite as good. And I think they did it across 12 hours then. So, but for a couple of years or so, this was a worldwide phenomenon. And what they did, they brought a game out for it, as you do in these situations. You can go to a charity shop and you can see there'll be box sets of this program, or Car Boot sells box sets of this program, which used to cost 50 quid when they came out. You can get them now for 50 pence. Nobody wants them. It's a real shame. I think I had a couple. I may still have a couple. And again, the whole game follows the concept of the TV program. It's set in 24 hours to save the world, and it shouldn't work because these sort of games don't work. And in some aspects it doesn't. But I love playing this game. As soon as I put it on, as soon as I started playing it, it was like I'm watching an episode of 24. The way it starts off with the 4 pictures come up and the music playing, da-dum, 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 da-dum. It's almost like you're playing an episode, and that adds to the atmosphere to it. The actual game physics itself, it's in truthful told, it's an average game. But if you remember that TV series, you're back there. That is what something like that needs to do. It needs to put you back into the sort of main area of it, back in the fulcrum of it. Sit there and do it, and it feels like I'm in the game, or the game feels like I'm in the TV program or the film, or I'm playing an episode or a section of the film. Which leads me very nicely on to number 9. I know some people don't like this game. Tough. Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. There we go. Come on, there we go. Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. On the N64. Again, absolutely no right to be any good whatsoever, because 1, it's on the crappiest Star Wars film ever. 2, it's got something to do with George Lucas, right? Lining his bloody pockets as if he needs it. But it works. It works. It's a great racer. It's so fast as well. It is. I wouldn't say. I'm going to say it's like being in a pod race, because no one knows what a pod race feels like. But it's a really quick racer, and you could again spend hours on it. And I mentioned it in my 90s video response when did I? No, I didn't mention it. I still haven't told yet about going to the video game arcade in Nottingham when it was there, and playing this with Mrs. Bear, and she beat me, and she never played it before. So if she can play it and beat me, then that's not really an achievement. But it goes to show that, and she was quite enjoying it, and we actually had another game straight afterwards, and she beat me again. So it gives you an idea how good at games I am. But it is just such good fun. It sort of captures the spirit of Star Wars. You can see why they included it as a packing game to sell more N64s. But it really is good. Honestly, if you've not played it, give it a go. It's about 6 to 8 quid, I think. Which is, I don't think it's too bad a price to pay for something like that. If you've not played it, pick it up, give it a go. And then I got to my 10th choice, and I thought, well, what do I pick for number 10? And I thought, let's think about the whole concept, the games I've come to appreciate. And I remember growing up, this game used to look at the video game sales charts. Back in our day, it was the computer game sales chart, because there's no such thing as a video game. It was computer games, and always just look through what was selling and what games were at the top of the list and what titles are there. And at one point, the charts used to merge, so you'd have budget titles and full price titles in the same one. Then they sort of split them out, so you had like the full price titles and the budget ones separately. And there was games kept cropping up I never heard of before, and I thought, well, why are these games? Why don't we see these games in the magazines, or why have we never heard of these games, and where are they, and where do you get them from? And there was always one character which kept appearing in there, and I thought, wonder what a game like that is. And then, of course, I remembered that David had done this video, and I thought, do you know what? Let's go back and have a think about this. And I thought, what was one of my favourite games to play when I got my Amiga? And I don't have a copy of that game now, which is a bit of a shame. But I used to remember playing that, and I really enjoyed it. And I went through my collection. I thought, I've actually got a game on a different format for that. And I know how much David loves games in this series, and I thought, well, I used to love playing this game back in the day, and I've played this one a little bit and I still like it, although it does infuriate me to the point where I really want to sort of pull my hair out, and I haven't got much hair left. So my 10th choice is not just one game. Because that would be unfair. Let all these other great games out of it. So my 10th choice is Treasure Island Dizzy. Or Spellbound Dizzy. Or Magic Land Dizzy. Or perhaps Dizzy Prince of the Oak Folk. Or Fantasy World Dizzy. Dizzy Goes to the Sex Shop. No, Crystal Kingdom Dizzy. How many more have I got? Dizzy. I've got Fast Food Dizzy, or it's not called Fast Food Dizzy, but it's got Dizzy in it. I had that on the Amiga as well. Quick Snacks. And Bubble Dizzy. In fact, the only one I haven't got is Dizzy Down the Bloody Rapids. Joking apart, Treasure Island Dizzy would be number 10 because of all those games, because I did enjoy playing that on the Amiga. It was an infuriating game because you got one life and that was it. But I love this game on the Commodore 64 because the music is brilliant and it just puts me in a very, very happy place. And yeah, Dizzy games were everywhere when I was a kid. And I've got tons of the buggers. I didn't realise I had that many games in all told, but I know, David, you'd appreciate that, how much you love that character and how much you love those games and how much they mean to you. And I was very, very surprised that they didn't feature on your list itself. Strange. Anyway, so that's it. That's 10 games that in my collection that I've grown to enjoy playing them, which may or may not be the title of the VL, but I think it's damn as close as damn it anyway. Yeah, so all that remains to be saying is thank you very much indeed for watching. If you have enjoyed the video, then why not give me a comment? Keep them clean, please. Or if you feel so inclined to, please drop me a subscription. That'd be really appreciated. If you do like the video, why not share it with other people by giving it a like, or even flick that bell icon, because it will tell you when I put a new video up, amongst the 5 million other videos that are going up at the moment. But I very much enjoyed that. I hope you've enjoyed it too. Something a bit different again. Thank you very much indeed for watching. We'll see you again very soon. Take care. Bye for now.